Rasika, such a pleasure to see you again. हमारी जरा मुलाकात थोड़ी कम हो गई है because I mean during the lockdown we were just meeting every 3 months.
I know. I missed you.
I missed you as well. So congratulations, Delhi Crime Season 2, getting a whole lot of love. So what was it like coming back onto this series, which actually, I mean, not only made international headlines, but actually was, I think, cathartic for a whole lot of people. Also was a way to highlight the situation. It meant a whole lot of things for the actors, the creators, and the audience. So what was it like?
Um, uh, Full of a mixed bag of emotions. I was wondering how they're going to take the story forward onto the next season, and curious to see how that would happen because it is a very tough task. The standards were set high, and the bar was high, and I was nervous for the writers actually because as actors you have the whatever, you're as good as the written material, and as actors always in a second season, I only look at it as an opportunity uh, to layer and nuance and detail what you had already created a little more, but for writers it's a very very hard job to write a subsequent season because the novelty of seeing new characters has been dealt with, and now you have to take them to another place, while sort of still keeping the basics of the show intact, so I was wondering what they would come up with, and I was actually pleasantly surprised to find what they had done with Neeti Singh's character, particularly because I think they did a fantastic job of take, of putting her on a journey where she's really trying to balance her personal and professional life, and that is really the story of so many women around us. Even if I might not have experienced it in my personal life in that particular way, but you've seen it around you all the time. You've seen it with women you've grown up with. तो ये तो unfortunately आपकी जिंदगी का हिस्सा है ही है. तो it's always nice to see that writers have written in something like this, where you have an opportunity to nuance this track, which you feel so deeply connected to because it is the story of women around you. And also it's basically a story of two people trying to make something work and it's not happening. Like Tanuj, my director, said it very beautifully one day on shoot. He said, Neeti and Devinder, who plays my husband, he said, they're just like one step, they're just one step away from each other. It's just that they don't have the right realizations at the right time. That's why things are not working for them. And that is actually the story of many relationships. And it is, it's very difficult for people in uncertain jobs and high pressure jobs, especially like the police force, where the stakes are so high, to really have be able to give any attention to their family. It's really a lot of effort. So yeah, so season 2 had all of that, and it was exciting to sort of jump into it and work with that material.
It's interesting you say that. Even in police, whether I mean, it's for you to feel another woman's issues, you don't have to put yourself there. Because recently you had a picture of a female constable, traffic police officer, who had a baby on her shoulder, and she was, but that could be any mom. She could be an actor, she could be in a corporate job. Between baby, work, how does she maneuver it? So I mean, whether it's your character as a police officer, or your character, or you as an actor, or for your matter any other character you play, the issues are same. They're universal issues, whether it's marriage, motherhood, child, being a daughter, being a wife, being yourself. We are fighting for the same thing irrespective. It's only that intensity thoda kam hoga, situation thodi wo hogi. But what I liked about Delhi Crime was it shows the female, the police force, and how they also negotiate the city. Because because you feel they're in the police, they might be in command of the city, wo patrol kar rahe hain, ye hamare. But as women, it just might be very different, Was that something that struck you as well?
So in season 1, actually, if you look at Neeti's character, she's a trainee officer in season 1. And if we have to go by how it is in the police, I would already have a police car in reality. But we took the creative liberty, and it was a very conscious decision from Richie's side to make Neeti use public transport just so that you sort of see this woman who is trying to, who's close to age to Deepika, who's the victim of the 2012 rape case, as she's shown in the series, and she's close to her age. You sort of feel the you sort of feel that how is she going to manage, how is Neeti going to negotiate this city, and that was sort of one of the things that he had very subtly and subliminally put in there, just so that, just to make people sort of understand how it would feel to see one of the characters of the show sort of, using public transport in a city like Delhi and all of that. And somebody actually pointed that out to me after they watched it. They said, when you were taking an auto, we felt very nervous for you. What would happen to you? So those were things that were consciously put in season 1 to actually, enrich the narrative a little more, so that you would sort of look at the everydayness of the lives of these police officers, and that would speak to you in some way.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. They are also fighting for pay parity. They're also fighting against superiors. They're also fighting. It's the same story that plays out wherever you might be, But that's also interesting. But that struck me about her negotiating the city, because you look at the police being secure and for them to give you your security. But there might be women within that also who might be really insecure in handling the situation. But when they came to you with, let's just go back in time, what was your reason to come on board when they came with Delhi Crime Season 1? It was tackling an issue that had made the whole country very angry. It made international headlines. It united people saying, it was horrible. I still get goosebumps. If I go back in time and they came to you with the character of Neeti, what was Rasika Duggal's, reason to say, yes, I am going to play. I want to do this?
There was no doubt in my mind, not for a second, because it was the most sensitively written script that I had read in a very long time. And it's dealing with a lot of very touchy issues, and it's not easy it can easily go in another direction, and had it not, the script itself was very sensitively written, very evident from the first reading of it. There was no doubt. But sometimes you worry, especially because you're particular about the projects you associate with, the politics of those projects. Had it been anybody else but Richie, I would have thought about it a little more. I would have met them. I would have spoken to them to understand how they want to treat the material. Because just to be reassured that they'll treat it with sensitively. But I had known Richie for a while. I'd seen his work before, and I was very, very sure that this is material that he would deal with very sensitively. And in fact, when I watched the show, I think the sensitivity of it superseded my expectations. I think they just did an incredible job in the way they lensed people, in the way they shot people, in the way they edited the show. It was at every step humanizing everybody. And that was a very difficult thing to do in the show like that. And so the skill and sensitivity of it superseded my expectations. So there was no doubt. The script was just very, very written with so much research, so much good intent, and they managed to write it also. Kabhi intent अच्छा होता है, लेकिन वो translate नहीं हो पाता. And in this journey there were no gaps.
You have played several characters in the past 2 years. I mean, kind of like own the OTT space, I would say, because that's given us content in many forms, so much so that people are actually rejecting the formulae that everyone thought kuch bhi de do chalega, wanting to see. And you played so many characters, whether it was Beena, whether it was a suitable boy, whether it's Neeti. What is that one character now you actually want to play and sink your teeth into? And of course, you had Out of Love as well.
The one character that
you actually now want to play, because you've shown many shades, but one character that you really want to sink your teeth into and explore, like as actors craving, ki ye mile aur main ye karu.
So for a long time, I wanted to be in a sports drama, because I've always found the genre very interesting. and I thought it'll be, and I am one of those people who watches a sports drama and weeps and cries.
Me too.
Because it's typically an underdog story if somebody achieved something through hard work and all of that, and it's a great story, right? And it never ceases to get me. I'm always very moved by it. So this year I've done that. Actually, I
Wow,
played
can
a,
you tell us?
yeah. Huh?
Can you tell us?
Yeah, I play a coach in a volleyball coach in a sports drama series, which is currently under post production. And I spent a large part of last year learning how to play volleyball,
Wow.
which was a completely novel experience in my life. I'd never played volleyball before, and it's such a brilliant sport. It's great fun. It's also very, very hard. It's immense teamwork. You have to understand your teammates better than you know yourself, actually. That's the kind of coordination that a sport like that requires. I'm sure many do, but volleyball is a very fast-paced team sport. So it really requires a lot of deep understanding of your teammates. So that was one check on the box. I really, really wanted to do that, and I'm so glad that happened. One thing that I really want to also do is uh, play the main part in a biopic.
मंटो में तो थोड़ा बहुत कर चुके.
हाँ, but मतलब I wanted to be Manto in Manto.
I know. हाँ, main part वो Manto's inspiration that साथ क्या हम वो कर ले. हाँ, main part is biopic.
Yeah.
Who's biopic?
Huh?
Whose biopic would you want?
Amrita Pritam. I've been wanting to.
He would make a good Amrita Pritam.
I would know. I hope so.
Manifest this, set it out to the university.
I've been manifesting it, but nobody's written it yet. So I keep hearing kabhi kabhi ki somebody's going to do something, but it never really. I've never heard any concrete news on it.
So let's manifest that. The two people who are actually Amrita Pritam and Amrita Shergill, who have intrigued me. So let's manifest that for you.
Amrita Shergill, though, somebody is making something on. I don't know if it's out in the press or not. But
nice. She was one volatile lady, and what a character.
Yeah. But Amrita Pritam's life I've really followed, and I've read a lot of her work, and it's influenced me in different ways in different stages of my life. So I hope that happens.
Awesome. And also, the thing is, OTT, I would say, the streaming platforms have helped actors break out from the shackles. कभी-कभी होता है कि फिल्म के लिए ऐसे ही करना है, मैं ऐसे ही करूंगी. Do you also feel that? And also, I just love the kind of female characters I'm getting to see in their many shades: blue, black, pink, green, whatever they may be. Are you also enjoying this, or do you feel that थोड़ा सा हम फिर से वो laziness आ जाएगी, mediocrity आ रही है, वो होता है?
No, I think there's the good and the bad here also. There is a lot of mediocre stuff in the streaming space also. ऐसा नहीं कि जो भी streaming space में है उसका content बहुत अच्छा है and it's new or anything. It's not like that. Some of the content is very average and mediocre, but there's no lack of newness either. There are 2-3 mediocre shows, but there are 2-3 very good shows every year also, and there seems to be room for everybody still. So that is encouraging to me, and I think the female parts are getting more and more nuanced, and because they are working, there are franchises being created around female characters. Like Delhi Crime is a great example of that, and every season there is a new introduction. In this season there's an introduction of a very interesting female part in season 2 of Delhi Crime. So I think it's the parts are becoming much better. When we 3-4 years back, when there was a lot of conversation about women-centric films or women-centric shows, I felt कि initially they weren't really sort of exploring a woman's life so much. It was basically an act of tokenism कि चलो हमारे feminism का डब्बा टिक हो गया है, अब now this show will get greenlit because feminism had become fashionable. But I think it's not just remained at that. I think the writing has explored women's lives in a deeper way. and with more understanding and with more sensitivity. And now to I feel ki now I feel like that there have been such high standards set, especially like Delhi Crime is one example for sure. Jalsa is a very good example as well. Two women doing from very different backgrounds, interacting with each other every day, and their kind of give and take. Just a very, very beautiful film to watch. And I love watching women on screen. It's just yeah, very beautiful. So yeah, the standards are set high, and I think I hope that the work I get is always meeting those standards, if not beating them.
Absolutely, that you are. So, अगर जाते जाते मुझे एक बात बताओ, आप if all these lovely characters you played, I mean, I loved you as Veena Tripathi, but she was so unlike you. So unlike you, because your character, I forget her name in Suitable Boy, was you.
Savita.
Correct. She was Savita, was you. That's
Yeah.
Rasika. I mean, Savita and Rasika, I just felt, just an extension. If Veena, Savita, Neeti, and Safia were to meet, what do you think that conversation would be like amongst them?
I think Savita would be taking care of everyone. Neeti would be in awe of Veena in a very sweet way.
Yeah.
Veena would not really care about anybody else. She would just be like, okay, she would be in her head about what's the reason to be here. Let's figure out how I can maximize this opportunity to meet a certain end. And Safia would be genuinely interested in all three of them in their lives. Yeah.
She just might actually write something about them.
Actually, no, I think Safia would be the one taking care of everybody, and Savita would be the one who would be genuinely, this warm person who wants to talk to everybody and know about them.
But fabulous. So keep the flag flying high. And I'm sure with two talented actors like on Delhi Crime, can we expect a season 3? I think hai.
I hope so. I don't have any concrete news on it, and we've been trying to prod our director throughout these promotions. Please tell us, and he's kept a stoic silence about it. He's not revealing anything.
Chalo, let's just hope for it. And Jati sir, since you are the police force investigating, ऐसा कोई case है जिंदगी में जो आपने सुना होगा, पढ़ा होगा, that you're like really curious about and you would love to investigate if you could go back in time?
Oh, that's a tough one. Most of the cases I remember are just so sad and controversial that I don't know what to say about it.
चलो कहो ही ना तो बेहतर है, पता नहीं, but anyways, all the very best. Lovely chatting with you and hope we meet in person. Maybe Delhi में ही मिल लेंगे.
Yes, hopefully. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.